What's up, you amazing people? It's Nima here, and today I have a question for you. Have you ever played one of those games that people have told you you're gonna love, or even you thought you're gonna really enjoy this game? Maybe it's a sequel, maybe it's just something you've been waiting for to come out for quite a long time, and once it does, you don't really like it, and you can't figure out why. You have no idea why. Your instinct should have been right. Whoever suggested the game, they don't give you bad advice, but for some reason, this game just doesn't mesh with you. If you have one of those games, please put it in the comment section below, because that's sort of the theme of this video. Not completely, because we're going to start off with something else, but before we get into that, please hit that like, subscribe button, and if you enjoy the content, please watch other videos on this channel. That helps a lot. Anyway though, I want to start off with a game that I knew I was not going to like, but I just thought it would be funny, and for a couple bucks it was worth the laughs. So anyway, this game is called The Love Date Simulator with girls, because apparently they make one without girls, which, you know, could also be interesting. But my point is, I thought this game looks really bad, but maybe it would be like good bad, you know, the type where it's just so bad it's funny, or you could sort of mess around with it, because the whole thing about the game is you're essentially on a dating app and you're trying to connect with other individuals, and I thought like this could be the opportunity to either like irritate people, make them mad, you know, that kind of thing. But no, even though the main goal of this game is to talk with other people, quote unquote people, online, you're only given a couple options of things to say, and sometimes it just can be really ridiculous. Like, I was talking to this one quote unquote girl. I don't mean in that way, I just mean like, it's not a real person, I know this, but we were talking about fashion of all things, because you know, that's what guys talk to girls about, and the only option was, let's swing the conversation to fashion. We were already talking about it. It's that kind of thing where it's like, this is bad. It's not even... There's no room for this to be funny. There's no room to just make things up or to aggravate the person. Like, there's no options for any of that. Or even just to like maybe hit it off that isn't elitist and pompous and, I don't know, self-absorbed. That's exactly how I felt about this game. Is it's just like all these options that are just safe and really boring. And I tried multiple options. Like, I did a guy looking for girl, girl looking for guy, guy, girl, girl, all these type of options to see if like anything would change it up, and no, it didn't. It's not even worth the money for the laughs, because there's no laughs to be had. It's just a crap game, which again, I kind of expected that. Now, on to a game that I didn't expect to dislike, and again, I can't say that it's a bad game, I just don't know why I don't like it, and that would be 2 Points Campus. So I played 2 Points Hospital, and if you guys aren't aware, these are kind of like your sim building games where you're in charge of, in one, obviously a hospital, and this one, you're in charge of a university, and you get to basically design and grow the kind of campus that you want, foster whatever education path you choose, like if you want to be more of like a medical or like biology, whatever. Now, it does kind of pigeonhole you in the first one to basically be all about science, but you have multiple options, I'll put it that way, and you can even get to the point where like you're basically just like a sports university, you know, like you're not great when it comes to academics, but your sports team is awesome. And, you know, there's a lot of moving pieces, and honestly, I was really impressed with the fact that it didn't bog down the Switch that much, considering all of the stuff that you can add and how much you're actively messing with the environment. But for some reason, I just couldn't get into it. Like, I tried for a couple hours intermittently where I would, you know, play for an hour or so, and then I'd come back to it maybe in the next day, or just try to get something going where I was interested in it, and I just wasn't. I just feel like it was a waste of time, and the game isn't a waste of time. I get what the goal is, and honestly, I think it could be really fun. And somebody who really liked Let's Build a Zoo, I don't know why I didn't like this game. In fact, I played 2 Point Hospital on the Xbox, and I kind of enjoyed it. It was one of those games that I knew wasn't a console game for me, and more of a handheld game, so this should have been perfect, but for some reason, it just wasn't. And luckily, I bought it on sale. It was on sale a couple weeks ago for like $13. It was down from like 30 or 40 or whatever it normally is, and that was the reason why I picked it up. But I don't know, just didn't like it, and I can't explain why. Everything about it is as promised. It performs well and looks good, all those things. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe I don't like the sim building games anymore like I used to. If you played any of the 2 Points games or even Skylines, let me know what your thoughts are on it, and maybe if I should try the City Skylines or whatever that game is called. I know it's on sale quite often. I don't know, let me know in the comments. Now finally, for the last game that I should have loved, and my god, I don't know why I don't. It's Front Mission 2. Now, I played the first one and even did it for the channel here, and I really enjoyed it. In fact, I gave it a pretty high score. So for this one, I thought, no brainer, I'm definitely gonna like it. But for some reason, I just don't. And I don't know if it's maybe because I have just a ton of RPGs to play or what it is, but the story I couldn't get into about 3 to 4 hours in, and I ultimately just quit because I was like, I don't care. Like, the story just isn't grabbing me, and it makes no sense why, because it's actually a pretty exciting story. So you're essentially on a base with, a bunch of your friends or coworkers, as it were, and one of your allies comes to the base because they need mechanical help. A bunch of their Wanzers or, the mech need some mechanical help, and essentially where you guys are, you support that kind of thing for all of your allies. A lot of them don't have the resources that you guys do, so you let them in, and then they attack you from the inside like a Trojan horse and essentially burn the whole place down. Everything's going crazy. You and a few of your fellow soldiers are able to escape that injury, and then you're basically on the run, and you're essentially trying to find a place where you know that you have allies or friends, because you don't know who's against you now. It seems like this was all planned by multiple allies, and maybe even from a few people or a few organizations that are within your own government, your own city-state. And so you're basically in this situation where you're on the run, you're looking for allies, and you don't know who's against you. So there's like a lot here, and it's very interesting, but I don't care. And I don't know why I don't care. I wish I knew why I don't care. It sounds cool. Seems like something I would be into. The combat is essentially the same as it was before, and I really like that, except for now you have expanded units, and you actually have a little bit more say in the strategy. All of those things are good things. In fact, you have flying units now, which you didn't have before. In some battles, there's allies and other units that you can kind of give broad commands to, watch R6 essentially, attack anybody who's coming up from behind us, or clear a path for us, this and that, and they'll just go ahead and do that automatically. And they'll even ask you, like, when should we retreat? Who should we attack? Should we wait for a couple squares, so to speak, since it is a strategy RPG, before we engage, or should we be very aggressive? Like, that adds this other depth to the strategy that this game has, and for some reason, it just, I don't know. I can't explain why I don't like it, and I think that's part of the reason I want to make this video, because I have to say, everything looks just like it did in the first one. Most of the controls are the same. The characters are interesting in the same way. I wouldn't say as interesting, and I do think that that's a problem. The story just for some reason doesn't hit like the first one did. And what's funny about that is because the first one is more about like a love story, and I'm not really into that when it comes to these type of games, but I don't know, it just worked a little bit better. And I think ultimately you had the situation that started personal with the story in the first one and then grew to something much bigger and took some major twists and turns, where this one just starts off with like a gigantic, plot twist, so to speak, or I wouldn't say plot twist, but it takes you on an adventure right from the beginning. But it's almost like I don't even care about these characters. I don't know who they are. I don't really have any sort of attachment to them. This government, this city-state, this army, whatever, I have no attachment to them either. I just got in here. So ultimately, I'm asking you guys, have you played this game before? And is it something where I just need a little bit more time for the story to really expand and grow a little bit more, and then I'll really like it? Because like I said, everything else about the game I really like. It's just the story. I just don't seem to care. And maybe that's something that in, 4 or 5 more hours, it gets quite a bit more engaging. Or is this just one of those games that hasn't done as well? Like, it is my opinion what a majority of people think, and that this one just wasn't as good as the first one? Or do you think maybe I've just got too many RPGs going on, and maybe I should just take a break and come back to it later? I would really appreciate your thoughts on this, and let me know if you've had any games like this where no matter what, you just couldn't seem to get into, even though all the stars aligned, everything looked like it was going to be something you were going to like, but for some reason, just didn't click with you. But in the next day or so, I do have a review for Thirsty Suitors coming out, and that game does click with me, so you're definitely going to want to check that out. It's a very cool, interesting game. But anyway, guys, I love each and every one of y'all. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.